talking about real issues that are affecting you as an individual. Insights about financial and personal growth, plus better relationships. And now, Bahati.
In 1993, my father dies. I was born, I think I was very little. And my mother dies in 1995, a difference of about 2 years or 1.5 years. So that meant that I was a total orphan, no parent living. Life wasn't easy. If anybody out there has been an orphan before, or they are an orphan, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was my guardians, my dad's uncles and aunties or sisters that actually took care of me to where I am today. In every conversation that I say, if I forget that statement, then I will have made myself no reason. Why? Every bad situation that happens leads you to sometimes, not every time you have challenges, you need to always look at sometimes there's something good in every challenge. I was fired from my job, not because of incompetence or what, but the guy wanted to bring his people, so he had to fake around claims, because it wasn't only me that was fired, almost everybody. Without him firing me,
you'd never have thought
way
about,
I would have come to Kampala. Why? Because I had a job that was going to pay my tuition.
That would keep you in Bali.
In Bali.
Yeah.
So meaning, every other story that I have had in Kampala would not have become successful had him not fired me. This world or this country is ruled by 20%. In that group of 20%, they don't invite Olwana Bulwanyi, no Sambo Olujiwe, pa! Nyingi de. Otherwise, if you do not do that, you're going to stay in the 80%, the mediocre class.
More women are kicking the doors.
Absolutely. Because, again, a lot of women have been empowered, and a lot of men are not. And
but again, they've been empowered, and then they have taken it upon themselves. Because you empower someone who is not willing to act.
Of course. Empowerment has kind of, pushed them to become... but better. Also, do they have an option? Because the men that women used to rely on are not doing their roles anymore. In fact, today morning, just a couple of minutes ago, I posted something and said, I think men are not doing their work, because when exactly did women start doing sports betting? An opportunity comes, and I'm given anchoring. The first day I anchored, Zenagamba wano newe negoba.
Like Maze.
Maze. I made sure I called my dad.
Molabe.
Muzei. Mutabanyiwe yagenda okubeera ku TV olwaleero. Me, I was not anchoring for the world. I was anchoring for my dad to see the boy that he did Gweyakwatako. This is how proud he's making him. And that night for me was everything. Anything else that happened, it was just a bonus. So 2018 I go on air and it changed my entire life. Unfortunately, our contracts ended in 2018, and most of us lost our jobs because the company was restructuring, and they killed my vibe.
Your vibe, I know. Why at the epitome?
Yes, when I was almost hitting the peak. Now, while I was still figuring out what to do, I got a call from Joyce Bagala, Honorable.
I know.
You now see the women of value in my life.
Connecting you from place
she calls me, Dennis, there's this imposi, let's see what to do. She calls me in one day, and they wanted to hire me. They actually hired me for a job to do in Hoima. They wanted me to be their representative in Hoima as the chief bureau, to head all the reporters within that region. So I come in, remember the other person?
Yes.
I meet them, they cannot remember.
I know, they welcome you back.
I had, oh, welcome to the team. I'm like, Kale Singh, our welcoming, I would be a far much better person. Yes. But regardless, I had come, and for me, it was like, yes. So I come, I'm given the job. But the rule was, you trained within Kampala here for 2 weeks before they dispatch you. You get used to the system, bakola batya, live unity, cameras are fair, in-house, you know, every media house has
its own DNA.
1 day on air. Nchogera kino nga ntya Katonda. Mwami Ken Karis. oyo mwana tagenda mu kyalo. Nagamba asigala wano. Mwagala te wano ku kitebe ekikulu Kampala, Uganda.
Wow.
Ku Next Media Plaza. And kasi already bangamba ngenda hoima ntunuliddemu akayumba kange ngenda kale by the way I've now shifted to Motongo. But I'm like kakati it's gonna disrupt my entire system. Ngende mu kyalo. Man, it was a lot of hassle. Mr. Ken Karisa says wano talina gyakola ki tebakola ekyo nga toli mulungi.
I know.
Yes, sikwewaana. I was good at what I was doing. So munange nga banzikiriza okusigala e Kampala nga tukola ngolo kati nsimbudde ntuuse. By that time NBS was the in thing. You're either working for NBS or
not working anywhere.
Not to say that not saying that other media houses were not working, but I mean it was the in thing.
That's true.
All journalists, best de la creme, were being hunted and brought to
the Chitebe.
Kakati nange awenyini wendi.
Oli wali wegeserera.
Ngatukola day in day out okitegera. So but remember when I was going to Hoima arrangement,
understanding,
in terms of payment, my benefits, but now staying in Kampala meant that we needed to sit on a round table and actually renegotiate. Yes, not a salary increment, but negotiate for what Kampala entails. Yes. So I worked a few months down the road and I felt like, oh no guys, I actually can't work anymore because the money that I was getting was little compared to the work I was putting in. I felt like I needed to be, you need to reach a level where you're not paid per what you do, but rather by the value you bring onto the table. And that
few people will understand that.
Teri ajja kitegeera. Toyetaaga kukola nnyo, kusasulwa nnyo. Akatono kokola
value
kereeta kekaki. And I think I'd reached honestly at that level. So I felt like I wasn't getting what I was worth. So I wanted so I talked to my supervisor, immediate supervisor was Joyce by then. I tell her, hey, I think we need to sit down. She's like, oh yes, by the way, what you tonze jukizanga munange omuchala nga kwati nsonga kubanga it would look weird for me to just go to the bosses
direct
minus my supervisor of whom I was reporting to. She needed to, so she did that for like a few months and 1 or 2
nenga connecting
nanga naide nsomanyi njogedde kino mu meetings kigana naye chobokola katika after all nze nkuwadde genda liwe genda at least bakwewulireko maybe bajja ku actinga nengenda naye ngera progress eli slow bahati na nyiga atenze bwe mbansazeewo bansazeewo kakati mbansalawo nasalawo ningambo manyi ku Monday kiringa lwakutaano ku Monday nenkubira yali HR nemgamba, oh by the way, good afternoon, hope you're fine. I don't know what time you're going to be in on Monday, but I'm coming. I'm bringing your ID and everything else that I have for NBS. I'm leaving. Or reason, katina mbuzisa reason, mgamba, it's 3 months. You're not improving. You're not like tetutulanga ku table, and I don't see any value for me. Like no, don't do that. Come to an office. So I come, and then you see the same stories. You see the company. No, we needed to sit and talk as men. So I had asked for money, some amount that I won't mention. They reached nearly 3/4 of it. I'm like, no, I'm not working. Ngansazeho, by the way, because I knew I was doing good. Honestly speaking, of course they called me. Naye ne bampa sente ze nali njagala naye ne bateekako obukwakulizo. You would take I think 1 or 2 years before getting a salary increment. And I told them, no, you see, this is not a salary increment. This is a renegotiation of what
that I
of what I deserve in Kampala. If there is going to be a salary increment this year, I should be included. Nganda batewa nagamba mumanyi tuchiveko nenchita. But I nachita because I knew there was something. I just had this thing of, I think I can do it.
Bahati.
So I don't know which flight this is, but I am the flight attendant and I am calling your attention to I don't know. I over enjoyed the last episode when we had the Duke. I will call him the Duke, because when a glory is big, it has to have a "the" at the beginning, not just Duke, but the Duke. We have him here, and I know that he left us at the crossroad where we were wondering what next. We really wanted to hear what followed after that, and that is why we have this beautiful conversation coming up for our own edification and for our own learning. Okay, so where we stopped and where we put the pin is when he was transiting, and I know that we have talked about transiting and being in a transitional period, and that is a very fragile state. That is a state that so many of us are in. So many of us are stagnant. We are moving in the same cycles. We don't know how to break camp. We don't know how to break even. And that is where we get to start. How good is that? I'm excited and I'm in class 100%. Welcome.
Thank you, Bahati.
So you're a pilot, I'm the flight attendant. We don't know which flight this is, but I know that I'm attentive, and we are attentive with the community.
Interesting.
So where we left off, you told us you were leaving journalism,
employment.
Yes,
Yeah.
employment, and how you were frustrated, to say the least.
Yes.
You were really, really frustrated. Things that were not happening, the bureaucracy, you know, all the red tape, and things were just not going the way you wanted them to go. So I want you to start right there and why you made that decision, because it seems like you were very vivid and very bold and very courageous when you were making that decision. And even when you make that decision with that kind of boldness, there is a following period, its own challenges, the aftermath of that. True. How does that look like?
Well, for starters, I will tell you that I think it's God that made me make such a decision, because like I told you, I left at the time when every journalist wanted to join where I was actually working at. Secondly, I didn't have a fallback plan. It's not like I had saved up enough money, so I was, you know, over, I had a job elsewhere. Absolutely nothing, none of that. In me, I had this conscious, again, it is just something that I developed after the numerous struggles that I went through. Remember, I had asked for a salary increment that had been met with a lot of resistance and a lot of, you know, going rounds and yeah. So I was like, no. And me, it's good and bad. Nsalao mango. More so when I'm disappointed. Nsalao, even my former relationships, I would not go around playing around. No.
I know that it can be both, it can go both ways.
Yes.
But I know that for some people who are decisive, it has worked in their favor.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I've always said this, that it was the most risky yet very well-paying decision I've ever made in my entire life. There's not a single decision that I equate to this. Because like I told you, I had no fallback, no nothing, but I had the conviction and the belief that things would work out.
Didn't you get home and you're like, what have I just done? Like, what have I've jeopardized the whole,
yes, it did sink in eventually. You see, when you're in the process, you don't understand what you're doing sometimes.
Like, adrenaline kicks in.
Afterwards, you're like, okay. Again, you can't go back and say, guys, I was joking. No, you've signed out off. You've left the ID, nothing. You're living with nothing. So, like I told you previously, it was simply because I wasn't getting value for my case. Again, this can be judged differently.
Has to be value
me
for
as
value.
me, yes. I thought I was working, not just at where I was working, but even myself. I was working from morning till late, but I wasn't seeing the value. You see, I told you, you need to reach a point where you don't want to be paid by what you do. No, but by the value you bring to the moment you reach there, then you're good to go.
But that means you know your value.
Yes.
So when it is under reciprocated,
yes,
then you can make a decision.
So me, I know my value. I know that I'm a person who will wake up very early in the morning. If you want me at 6, I'll be there. If you send me several times, I'll do it with no hesitation whatsoever. And even if you wanted to keep me late, I'll do it. Like I told you in the beginning, I was told by Bale Francis the late, if you want to be very valuable at your job, do things that others are not doing.
Yeah.
Be multitasking, do a couple of things that
go an extra mile,
or be extremely good like he was at UBC. You would hardly fire him. Why? Who else would you employ?
I know.
Nobody would replace Bale. Never. People have tried, but they cannot even get close to him. So he said always, be good. So I've always tried if you give me a job, I'll do it to the very best. And just for a take-home message to everybody watching, in whatever little thing you're given, be it at a job or your own personal things, give it all your best, 100%. Nothing like, yesterday I was watching a TikTok video where a service provider was saying, clients need to understand that sometimes there are bad days. So in case something didn't go as expected, they should, be calm and polite with them. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute.
I paid you my money.
So you are a photographer, and this particular person is actually a photographer. I've called you on my wedding,
I've paid
and you tell me it was a bad day on whose wedding?
I know. I have one day, for God's sake, I have one day. I'm not repeating
in whatever you do, leave every mess at your home. Come and give me what I have paid for, because this is a one-time event and I'm not going to do it again. So give me the best.
Have all your backup, have your all
if it's camera, have 3 cameras or battery fully charged. If it's a card that you don't trust, we have card brands that are trusted. SanDisk is very good. It will never go wrong. Carry that one. Don't mess around, because after the wedding,
if it is manpower, get the best.
Get the best. After the wedding, there is nothing you can tell me, because the moment is past. We can't go again to church and redo it.
We can't have the same
moments. So the same conversation that I'm having now is what I'm telling people. If you are given something to do, being a Ugandan employer, I have had this various times. The people that we employ, I don't know how to categorize them, but they're very disturbing. It's a lot of work. You have to plead as though you're not paying. Exactly. Yet for me, for my
case, then you have to be careful what to say and when to say it.
Remember, you're the boss.
I know, you're the boss.
I'm like, when did we reach here? I think we as Ugandans need to go back to the drawing table. If you're given something to do, do it with all your best, with all your might. Trust me. The salary that you're looking for will be increased. You will be recognized. And don't do a job for the sake of just being paid. Do a job, even if it's not what you studied. Just fall in love with it, and everything else will fall in place. I usually tell my people at my facility that you're not just working for Sungura House or Denis Duke. You're working for yourself. Because if a client came in here and you worked on them very good, they will pay you, appreciate you by a token, a tip, or they might say, Bahati ononga akola bulungi kamubbe.
Actually, I've ever employed someone from somewhere.
So I felt I wasn't getting value. Kakati nensalawo, I left. And what happened thereafter?
Roller coaster. Let's start.
Not easy. Yes, I have left. I've gone into the world of hustling. I call myself a certified muyiribi. Because me, where there is money, I'm going to kuyiriba. So I go into self-employment. You see, I told you there are levels. A lot of people confuse being self-employed with being a business or being an entrepreneur or something. You see, you can open up a kiosk somewhere. You've employed yourself. That's self-employment.
You've given yourself a job.
A business should be able to multiply. For example,
without you.
Yes. And maybe that is on the other scale of being an investor. Because if you're an investor, you invest in a business and you don't even there. Because right now, as we're speaking, I'm not serving food at Sungura. Sungura is being run by a team of people. So what I'm saying is, if you have a job for yourself and maybe another person, you've just created a job for yourself. It could be a business, but on a very, very small scale. A business should be self-sufficient, one that grows after a certain period of time, either through multiplication in terms of I've opened up a new branch elsewhere, or it grows in terms of capital share. You know, you started in like a small space, you've now enlarged, and you have different people, no longer one person.
Or even an ecosystem.
Yes, of sorts. So I started up being self-employed, and I'll tell you that I left at a time, a very wrong time. I left in 2019. Now, 3 months after COVID hits.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was like, whoa. Why was it so hard for me? Because they had closed the economy. Now, closing the economy meant that I was not interacting with people. My kind of money that I make is through interpersonal connections and relationships. Like I have to meet you physically, offer you a service, and then, because I wasn't selling a product as such, I was offering services by then. So they had closed the economy. I'd lost my privileges of a journalist, moving around freely. So it meant I had to also stay home. And it was really, really hard for me. But while we were there during COVID, and I usually use this as an example, if COVID did not teach you something, if you didn't learn anything, then there's never going to be an opportunity for you to learn. Yeah. Because COVID meant we needed to put our brains to use.
To work,
to see what can I do in my own space that can bring me money without me moving. So in that process is when I developed a couple of other ideas that I eventually put to test, and they worked out. But I'll tell you this, do not ever leave your job without a fallback plan. It's very, very risky. I went through it, I suffered. I usually tell people, mostly if you're married, I think,
you have a family.
Because you have a family. Then I had a family, but we weren't staying together with my wife. She was elsewhere, I was elsewhere. But I had a child, because I've had my child for the last 12 years. And I left work in 2019. So I had people to take care of. But even then, I had responsibilities back home. So it meant that a lot of people were looking at me, for survival. And I had left a job, and I didn't have a job that I was going into thereafter. So caution number one is, do not leave your job without a fallback plan. A fallback plan may not necessarily be a job, but it could be saving. And for savings, I usually tell people save up to about 6 months. If you can save for a full year, if the money you've saved can take you for a full year, that's even much better. Because 12 months, you can't tell me that you failed to get what to do. No, it's very impossible, unless you're just sitting there. But 6 months is the minimum. And by 6 months, I mean have enough money to give you the same lifestyle. I drive right now. If I'm to leave a job, I should be able to drive for the next 6 months without having to dry up. And within these 6 months, I should be striving so hard to plan something, it work. Otherwise, if it does not work, you go back to misery.
I know.
You go back to regrets.
No one
and for
that.
Married couples, it even gets worse. Because like I told you, there are certain things you can't forego. You cannot say, today I don't have money, so we won't
going to eat.
Eating or feeding is
Someone
mandatory.
is sick, we are not going to treat
Somebody is
them.
sick, we are not going to treat. Like, those are things that you cannot forego. If you asking me for a cloth, I can say, hey babe, let's buy it next week once I get money. You cannot postpone food, you cannot postpone health care. So if you're married and you do not plan very well, and I'll tell you that majority, at least 60 or 70% of marriages break up because of financial issues.
In such valleys.
Yes. So you've not probably had these conversations with your partner.
You're not on the same chapter.
Yes. So they may not be in position to understand you, because as a man, again,
even when you're on the same chapter, needs and needs.
Yeah, a need is a need. They need food, it's food. You can't forego. So you need to be very, very intentional with your decision to choose to leave a job, and then you need to save up some money. But also, before you leave, you also need to try out something. You see, it's not everybody is supposed to do business. Meanwhile,
that's true. That's true. I had to learn it the hard way.
The hard way, and it is until I started doing it that I realized, oh, it's actually not for everybody. In fact, I don't tell people to start business. First learn, and then implement.
You can actually start kuyiribaring while doing your job.
Every single day, I see young men and women say there are no jobs. Truth, there are no jobs. Did you know you can actually create a job yourself?
I know.
Let me give you the basic that I do. If you sell clothes, I can earn from you. How? I come to your shop, we strike a deal. You're selling that maybe a dress at 30,000. I'll sell it at 40,000. I'll invest in a camera.
Come give you money.
Yes, and then I say, hey, I don't even need that stock. I'll just post, come take pictures, post on social media, get a client. When the client sends through money, I called Bahati. Hey, Bahati, you remember the other address? You still have it? Yes. Give this border guy. They deliver to this address. The person sends money. I give you your money. I remain with my cartel.
Clean money. All you have to do is build a brand.
Build a brand.
Be online.
Be online. That's all. Buy data.
Promote.
And that's all.
That's all.
That is literally all. With capital 500K.
You can do it in your
home.
Or even in your office.
Yes, even in your office as you work on your daily job. You don't necessarily have to leave and be out there. You can only leave once you've started up something that really requires your time,
and you
your
can
presence.
see that it's already giving you more
cash. Yes. Then you say, okay, let me quit, let me go into this. But the moment you quit simply because you have some capital, maybe 10 or 20 million, you're like, let me.
And what you've said, to make it even versatile, it goes for everything from head to toe.
Yeah.
You can sell hair.
You can sell hair.
You can sell shoes. You can sell, like, literally.
You can sell land.
As in for women, you can literally everything.
You can sell watches online without actually having a physical store now and make money from other people's money. All you need to do is be honest. That's the only value that people are lacking in Uganda.
Deliver.
Yes, deliver. If it's cash on delivery, then do that. Get one border guy, brand him, or even if they are not branded. But just get service providers or products, people with products, sell their products, retain a fee, and life goes on.
Before you know it, you're in China.
Exactly. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I want to, I don't want to touch things. I want to bring things, advertise, people buy. I don't even see them. They don't even see me. It's the border guys doing the delivery. That's
you have a warehouse somewhere?
Not even a warehouse. My own home. If I'm renting a 3-bedroom, I'll rent 4-bedroom. Use 1 bedroom as
to
my
dispatch
store.
My goods.
Yes, to dispatch my. So I have my boys every time I get an order. Hey, John, oliwa jango to alidono. It goes. I get money. No office space. No taxes. No nothing. Clean money. So, life was hard, but eventually I had to look for ways through it. And I'll tell you that after 8 months or 9 or 10 months into the first
into the desert.
The first thing that I got, and everything that you will get, the first thing you will get from leaving your job to being self-employed is the freedom. Now, this freedom can be misused or be used to your advantage, but that is what I got. I sleep anytime I want. I wake up anytime I want. I literally program myself. So every day I know.
Self-driven, you will thrive.
Yes. If you're this person who needs to be pushed, then it's going to be hard for you, because the freedom will be too much that there's nobody behind you to force you to do the things that you're supposed to do, except maybe bills, because when bills chip in, they need to be cleared. But for a person that is self-driven like me, I'll just set myself. I work from Monday to Wednesday. Thursday, I'm relaxing. Friday, my weekends start on Wednesday. Party. So these are things that can be only set when you leave your employment. Previously, I would not do that. I would work from Monday to Saturday. The only day I had was a Sunday, which I was either very tired or I'm washing clothes, because by then I wasn't married. I only got married in 2021. So I got the freedom. But also, I'll tell you that I drove my first car immediately after employment, 8 months after employment.
Okay.
But I had worked for around 7 years without even buying a bicycle.
Because then it was all about paying bills.
Paying bills.
Eating.
But now you see some of the reasons. Now after I made the decision, I'm like, I think I made the right decision. I drove my first car after employment, after 8 months of employment.
Self-employment.
Yet I had worked for around 7 or 8 years with no.
So you started
even a
driving
bicycle.
in COVID.
Yeah, I started COVID.
While
COVID.
everyone
was crying, me, I was okay, because I had cracked the code.
I know, and while you talked about if you didn't learn through COVID, do you know that self-driven people will not even consider it like a lesson? It will not be an epiphany, like it will be a normal thing.
A normal thing, yeah.
For example, I turned my bedroom into a studio in lockdown.
And that's why you were
I think I've made more money. I made more money during COVID than anything else.
Exactly.
And so when you say that it really clicked, and I know for most people that it's going to click, and the business ideas that you're giving to us, but how comes you even drove 8 months into your self-employment?
So 8 months into self-employment, I told you it was a little bit harsh for the first 4 months, but during those 4 months I was thinking. I put my head to work because I had no option than to think. You get. I was doing a few things, of course, like I do documentaries for companies, individuals.
Like
so
videos?
I go shoot, videos.
Okay.
So I shoot for companies. It's a good deal. You know, I could go somewhere, strike a deal. So,
and you know, you're a private person, so you're going to charge a bit low cost. And,
yes, not even low cost, but it depends on how quality your work is, and then how good you deliver your work, and the relationship
and the referrals that you get there.
So as a journalist, I had kept this long queue of people that had seen me and were trusting me with work. So I kept doing those for survival. Yeah, but COVID, of course, during the first 6 months, it was very stagnant a bit. But eventually, when the economy had been, you know, released a little bit, things started moving. So through that, I started my way out. And that's when I get my first car. I was doing a couple of things, not just photography, a lot of things that I may not mention here. But by a lot of things, I mean, I learned how to sell without actually having a shop. I learned how to brokerage deals, land deals, without actually having to do a lot. You have your plot of land, you give me, I advertise, I get a client, you need 60 million, I charge 70.
You take your cash?
I take my cash. Clean money. No tax.
It's just the willingness to do it.
No tax, no nothing. It's just a matter of ensuring that the land you're giving me is as good as myself. Because then if it's anything wrong, it comes back to me because I brought a client. So again, you need to take precautions when you're dealing with people in regards to exactly land and even other business. Like I told you in the beginning, a lot of Ugandans are not trustworthy. They're after making money, not after reputation. Yet for people like me, I don't eat from hustling. I eat from reputation.
Reputation, integrity.
Yes. I need to be very categorically clear. I eat by being honest.
And it will be slow, but it will be long term.
Yes. I don't want to, for example, I get clients that are not even in the country. They give me their money, I do their work, and then I keep mine. So if I delivered to you very well, you have a fleet of others that you're going to recommend. If I didn't deliver to you well, you're not going to deliver. So I'll have to, the cost of getting a new client is much more than the cost of maintaining the ongoing. So maintain your relationships, the cost will be low. If you go out there looking for clients, it will be costly. I don't know if it makes sense.
So many people actually concentrate more on looking for clients. And yet when the clients come in, then the maintenance is not good.
Yes, which applies mostly in a restaurant business like I am in. Getting a new client is very, very costly, but maintaining this is low cost, and then it is even multiple. If you ate food at Sungura and you loved it, you're going to preach the gospel for us. We don't need to. We don't even to pay you anything. When again there was Sungura and it was good. Before you know it, in a room of 5 people, we've got more 2 people. I should also try. They come with their girlfriend, they come with their boyfriend, whoever it is, or a family.
Some of them keep coming,
and the cycle grows. But it's not for anything. Trust, honesty, integrity. That's all we are selling. So
you say that you touched and left so many things that you transcribed or interpreted into cash back then for sustenance.
Yes.
But when do you get to a time and say, I think my heart settles for this? Because then I believe there are so many things that you did that you're no longer doing, that now you have settled and said, now this is where my passion is, this is where my heart is.
I think I haven't settled, Bahati. I'll tell you that right now, every single day, there is something that I'm thinking about.
Your heart is racing.
Yes.
Your mind is thinking.
I know it is bad, but it's good.
No, it's good.
Here it is what I usually say. I use examples of people that are already successful. Aliko Dangote, richest man in Africa. He's Nigerian. You definitely know him. He's into almost every sector of the economy. He's into mining, he's into cement, he's into food processing, he's into merchandise, hotel. Okay, we've gone very far, Nigeria. Let's come back to Uganda. We have Sudir Rupareria. He's in literally everything. Schools, accommodation, apartments, construction, banking, insurance, media, communication, literally everything. And he's excelling. So I was like, I'm not going just to do one thing. I'm going to do all of them. All I need to do is how do I perfect each one of them?
Yes.
Eventually, I'll find something that I love at heart. But right now, what I have learned also is, again, what I want to share with people. You don't need to do a lot of things unless you have the capacity. The mental capacity to multitask. Because it is, yes. Thank you. Now take me back. Remember when I told you I can do a lot of things at the same time? Now this is me. I can run a lot of things at the same time because I am multitasking.
But again, do you know that as a multitasker, that you will see your own gaps in the things that you're doing, but the people outside might not see the gaps.
Yes.
They feel like that is perfect. Yet for you, you feel like,
no,
I'm at 3%.
Yes. Because again, you're self-driven.
Yeah.
But also a word of caution. Don't just do things because Denis
for the
said,
sake of doing things.
Let's do a lot of things. No. What I do, even when I do a lot of things, there are things that I concentrate most on because I know that the payback is equally more. But also another thing that I'm doing is I am building every single aspect of that business to reach the level I want it to be. For example, when we started with the Duke's Media, so Duke's Media is basically maybe let me explain it more to people that have never heard of it.
Because again, if we tell people you're doing business and you're not telling them
so
what you're
Duke's
doing.
Media is a company that does a lot of media related works. In fact, at some point in the future, I will have, it's not even a guess, I'll own a media house and it will be Duke's Media. And under Duke's Media we'll have radio, we'll have TV, have newspaper, because I'm a journalist and that's my profession. I love it from my heart. So I'll do something
in that line.
Yeah, so for now, what we are doing as Duke's Media is we do those small things, you know, documentaries, blah, 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 managing social media for people, myself shooting content for my own platforms. It's still in line with media.
Yes.
So even when I left media, I still do media, but for my own self. So that's Duke's Media. So I want to develop it. It hasn't reached where I want it to be because the final end product should be a TV, a radio. And we will not start with all of them. We'll start with one. Maybe a radio, and then again we go to TV, then newspaper, because all these are capital intensive. But like I said, I'm very lucky that sometimes people come through for you know, investments. If somebody ever comes to me to invest in me, that's
you already have a plan, a clue,
yes, of what I want to do. And because I've been in the media, I know where to go, how to go about it, what needs to be done to run a media house. So that is one. So I want to develop it, reach where I want it to be. Two, we have the Duke's Farm. So the Duke's Farm, I know the direction it's supposed to take. It's a mixed farm, doing rabbits, goats. Equally as Duke's Farm, we haven't reached where we want it to be. So it's growing, but our growth, I don't want to grow it. No, I want it to be level by level, to a level where they can be sustainable. Don't jump around doing everything. But
get the knowledge.
Yes.
Get the knowledge, because getting the knowledge equates to, instead of you having a dull axe and cutting for years, how about you first sharpen?
Do you remember what I said in the beginning, the conversation? I said, whatever you choose to do, give it your best.
Yeah.
Give it your best. And giving it your best is not just, oh, I'm here present. No, it means learning.
Yeah.
It means, and actually
this
is a package that I usually tell people. Every single day, aspire to be better. Better in anything. Jogging for 10 minutes and not jogging at all is better.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
get jog for 10 minutes every single day. Before you know it,
compounding effect is huge.
Before you know it, you will be actually interested. So what I do is, if I want to jog, I put on Lingala. I'm a Lingala lover. So I will dance, you know, around.
Warm up.
Yeah, warm up. And then in the process of dancing, I'm enjoying the music.
You keep going.
But I am burning fats, I'm burning calories. So in your own space, how do you get better? If things get boring, find ways of making
them up.
Yes, and just like we need to spice your marriage.
Life is not too serious.
Yes.
Don't make life too serious.
Spice it up. I mean, go online, read a book.
That's why you should be careful about who you marry.
Exactly.
If you really want to be successful.
It's very
because if you can't be yourself around them, dance your Lingala up and down, and you're not looked at as a mad person, actually they will join you in the dancing.
And then,
then you know you have a keeper.
And marriage or relationships actually affect us financially. If you're a man, the woman you marry
matters
a lot as you want once you decide on big. You know, being successful is not necessarily about just having a lot of money. Being successful is a lot of things. It's a big word. You can be successful in just being a TV news anchor. That can also be affected by the woman or the man you marry. Oh, let's talk both sides. You, as a woman, how fast you go, your husband. Because you will marry a man who drinks every morning. And I'm not saying drinking is bad, but anyhow, irresponsibly.
Drinking is bad. Let's go.
Okay, it is bad. I don't want to sound like I'm committing people.
I know.
But all I'm saying is, a man without a vision will definitely crumble your vision.
That's very
Again,
true.
you can't have both have the same visions, but you should at least have the same or similar aspiration, values. You get. If you're my wife and you have no issues putting on skimpy dresses, then we don't share the same values. Because me as Denis Duke Waniala, I was raised in another context, in another world where putting on skimpy dresses is obscene to me. And again, I don't want to get you and then start telling you, hey babe, put on this. No, I don't want to come and dedicate that. I'd rather wait until I get somebody
who has
that
the same
at least shares. People are not perfect, but get something that is minimal, that you can work with. The rest of the things, you'll work it out.
In place.
Exactly.
Okay, so I know that you've amassed so much knowledge while doing these things, and while definitely these are passions, pockets of passions that you're trying to chase here and there. The only difference is you're a multitasker, and the only difference is you have a sense of focus and a sense of being self-driven that not everyone has.
That's true.
What lessons can you vividly share that, you know what, these are the things that I learned the hard way, that I don't want you to learn the hard way, that you can be able to thrive when you are practicing and pursuing your purpose, your passion, and what it is, your constant thoughts that keep coming. People are in ideation processes, endless ideation processes, and they just don't know, some of them don't even know how to start.
So the first thing I should tell them is start today. I don't know whether you know how to start or you don't know. Just start. You will figure things out along the way.
That's true.
You see, the word is procrastinating. I hope I've pronounced it
you have.
rightly, because I usually have issues with those too many words. The moment you keep procrastinating, the more time you're wasting. Otherwise, make the decision today and take it. Risk
if it won't work, it won't work. But if it will work,
it will definitely work. And then you see, you cannot learn driving when the car is in parking. I don't know if it makes sense.
That's true.
You can't learn when the car is parked. You learn when the car is in
motion.
But
you learn to play football while you are spectating.
No. You learn from the field.
The field,
Yes. The only thing is you can say, oh, let me go online, learn a few road signs. How do I manage? The theory is what we talked about. Do a lot of consultation, a lot of research before you jump into it. So jumping into it, don't even think twice. Just jump, okay, and then figure things out along the way. I've never had experience in managing a restaurant business, but I am learning. The last 1 year that we've stayed, I have learned a lot.
So much.
In that, if I had not started, I would never have learned.
And you know, sometimes we like saying that we have learned because we have been gaining and getting profits. But sometimes we even say this has been a good year, not because of the many profits, because of the so many lessons you have learned.
I'll tell you that we've not been able to break even in terms of profits. We've only been able to survive.
Yes.
You know, and
that's a start.
You see, the economy, Ugandan economy, is actually not very friendly. But we need to thrive regardless. You have to find ways of thriving because other businesses are actually thriving. Our economy is not any different from Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Burundi, and wherever, East Africa, or even across. How they manage is how they go about the daily hustles that happen in businesses. So, start today. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Stop overthinking it.
Stop overthinking. Start today. Just risk what you can Don't just go in fully. Again, when you're starting, if a business requires 30 million, don't put it in all. Put 10. Let the 10 burn so that the 20 can be used.
Yes.
You get?
Yeah.
Don't put, in
All
fact, there's a
your
saying,
eggs
in
in
one
one-
basket. First put one egg. See how does it multiply? Ojja kumanya ensobi izo,
Yes.
you'll fix
Ojja
along the
kutaasa
way.
ziri endala.
So don't invest all the money that you have. Invest 20 or 30%. Work with that 30% for a minimum of 6 months.
Best.
Give it your best. See how it grows. Then you can invest the rest of the money. Just like now, I will talk about levels of getting money or how to get money. I don't know, should we talk about it?
Please.
So if you're
We're here for all of it.
procrastinating simply because sometimes people want to start, but they don't have capital. They don't have, money to start their ventures. There are 3 or 4 ways of getting money to start your venture. The number one is through saving, which again is not viable because
if you don't have the money,
we earn little monies. So by
survive.
the time the month ends, you are saving 20k. There's literally not very much that 20k can do for you. So we've crossed that one out. If you're getting enough money to be able to save, that's a good one. But I'm speaking for majority of Ugandans whose jobs are not able to give them as much savings to start a business. The second way is to, call your friend, call your uncle, which again, not various uncles are as rich.
are willing. Even willing.
Somebody said, there's a rich man who said, Aliko Dangote, that his uncle, was it our own Sudir or somebody, his uncle gave him some money to start. Not all our uncles will give us money.
That's true.
The economy has gone bad. Everybody's working on their own. So we've also crossed that one. The third one is to come together as a group. And this one has been proven, it works, but only under circumstances where you set stringent rules. Bahati, I've met you, we have the same goals, same aspirations, we want to deal in real estate. So I'll come to you and say, hey, can we do this? You're like, yes. How much do you have? You have 50 million, I have 50 million, that's 100 million. We've reached the capital that we need. That's good to start, but it's not good enough until you have written memorandum of understanding, you've set those signings straight
rules,
that govern you, because people are greedy, and as the business grows, somebody might need to throw you out of your own business that you started with them. So you need to, as much as you want to, protect yourself as much as you can. So starting on as a group is very important. A group could be 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. Just find ways of working together through a written. If you need to register that company you're starting, register with equal shares or with shares depending on somebody's involvement or somebody's contribution. The problem with Ugandans is we want to be us. Nze. Sungura yange.
I know. And if it's not working,
I would rather own a small share of Sungura, 10%, of a big thing than owning a big thing of a small portion. I don't want to own 50 million of Sungura capital. I want to own 500 million of Sungura capital. By this I mean we are different shareholders that put up a lot of resources together to collectively build Sungura as a brand to go international to a level that I have 1 billion shillings on my account every single month, yet I own just 10% of the company. So I would rather own a small portion of a bigger company.
That takes calculating math, that takes mental awareness and intelligence.
So Bana Uganda twejjemu kino nzenze, let's not be greedy. The greediness is taking us nowhere. Build businesses that will last. Businesses. I'll tell you that Mark Zuckerberg does not solely own Facebook. Facebook is owned by different people. Vanguard, BlackRose, and they are different people. You get?
Yeah.
Yet,
And
we
some of
only
them
know-
will never come to the front.
They will never come to,
Some
because
of them
for
are
them
silent owners.
they are just
And I
minding
love
about
being a silent owner.
Exactly.
For as long as my money is
So
to be
Mark
fronted.
Zuckerberg and his team is out there toiling how best, because they invested, he's using his brain
Yeah.
to make profits for this company. Yet somebody's sleeping
And
but
they're
earning.
earning their money.
You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to start a business. You can become a business owner by buying shares in an already
In another
existing company.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you find people that are qualified to advise you which company to invest in and which one not to.
That's
because
true.
not all companies are actually profitable. So you need to be deliberate by not just owning the business, but rather owning something that brings in money at the end of the day.
That's true.
That's the third one. The fourth one, which again a lot of people fear, is through getting a loan. And I will tell you, it's my favorite, apparently. Why? I told you I'm a person who is not very good at borrowing from people, individuals.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the bank and pay. Now, there are cautions to this as well. Don't just go get money.
Borrow anything.
Don't borrow money to invest in a business. No. Borrow money to invest in an already existing business. Sorry, let me make it very clear. Don't borrow money to start a business. Only borrow money to invest in a business where you've seen potential and you
growth.
think the only thing limiting you is probably increase in capital. But don't borrow money to start. Why? Because you've not tried. You don't know what is going to happen. Don't borrow money for things you're not sure. Right now I can borrow money because I am sure of where I'm going to invest, and I know that my business is only lacking some money. If I scaled up my capital, it would give me much more money and even be able to pay back. But also, even if it died, I have other ventures to pay off the loan. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes,
just that, because I cannot save any more 1 million this month, next month, I need 30 million.
You need to run.
Exactly. I need 30 million. So if I save 1 million every month, I'll only have 12 million
at the end of the year,
which will take me 3 years to get the 30 million. So what I do, let me go get the loan.
So that I can take the 3 years paying back?
Yes, paying back. In my own portion, but I've boosted my venture in that these ventures that I've boosted are giving me much more profits that I'm able to pay back the loan and even invest elsewhere. So that's the fourth way of getting money. Only get the loan once you're sure of what you're going to invest
where
in.
you're going to and the profits that
yes,
are coming.
That one is easy for me because not more often will you get people to partner with.
And these days, you know, a bank will look for you for as long as they know that you have something tangible. They will look for you.
Yes. So right now, that's what I'm doing, and I've done this at least for the last couple of years, and it has been awesome for me.
So
I have no regrets.
Know where to get your capital to invest. Any last one?
Learn as much as you can.
Always.
Learn on the job. Okay, figure things out. Every single day, think for your business. Take 2 or 3 hours just to think what, and learn from others. You see, okuyiga kulinga omuliro okugwako ogenda wa neighbor. The problem is we assume we know. Even at this time, I've been in business for quite some time, 3 years to be specific. But I'll tell you that I learn, I listen, I sit down to Bahati, listen to her, her podcast. There's something that you know that I don't know. And that's something if I added to what I know, I become probably better or at least closer to you. You get?
And so, back to the beginning, when the going gets tough and you need to jump out of the boat, make the jump.
Yes, and maybe something that I also don't need to forget, and I even talked about it today. If you really want to be successful, you need to be intentional. You can't just be there, I want to be successful, and you're not setting yourself in motion.
No actions attached.
No action, no nothing. So I say, there are certain things that you will have to forego or to sacrifice. Sacrifice is the word. For success or change to come in your life, there are certain things you have to let go of. For example, there are times I did not sleep, or I took about 24 hours to work. Right now, I sleep up to midday rather. And people call me and like, hello, how are you? They're like, wait, you're sleeping at this time? And in my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? What is there? Who said that we should only sleep in the night? You get the point.
I can even work in the night and sleep.
Disrupt the system first of all. Disrupt the system. If they say that you work from 8 to 5, find ways of limiting yourself, maybe working for 2 hours. Disrupt the system. If you don't disrupt the system is put in place first of all
to control
you, to rule you, to limit your potential.
Limit your
That's
thoughts.
the system. You need to change the system.
Because then you have to keep running the system.
Yes. 2, you need to sacrifice. We have the gospel of Jesus today because he sacrificed himself. Had he not died on the cross, we would never have had. So God sacrificed his own begotten son so that we could get salvation. Kakati go to deyo. Toyagala na kusacrificing. You're all in your comfort zone. Things are not going to move. So you're going to sacrifice your comfort zone. You're going to sacrifice your sleep. You're going to sacrifice your money, your happiness now, so that you can enjoy in the future. Otherwise, bota sacrifice abachala bagenda muleba. It's a very painful moment. To bring
forth a child.
It is the child that makes them.
But we are willing to sacrifice ourselves.
Giving birth is literally giving up your life because you have no idea. And of course, for us, Fabalokole, tulishuant to Javayo, we have that,
the assurance and the faith in God.
Nayate techijao the fact that oita wazibu nnyo. It's a matter of life and death. Bwotafa omwana avaayo mulungi kati eri essanyu ly'omwana lyeri kutwaza emyezi 9 nga olina olubuto
and you go through near life death experience ate nomala nofuna olulala
okitegeera fe abagisu batusala embalu live we go through that pain because of ekitiibwa kyekitugenda ofuna afterwards bakulaba ng'omusajja ajjudde just that you get and in our society getting circumcised is a lot. You feel like yes, impeded. Kakati, if you want to be successful, you have to put in the work. It just doesn't come like that.
It doesn't
Before
get
I forget,
better than that.
the last one. Always and always be honest. But the most important thing is trust in God. Bahati, we can speak whatever we want today.
I know. Without God, we are nothing.
Because I am not any different from anybody here or anybody out there. We all breathe the same air. We are all, have access to the same facilities. All that is different is God just decides to say ono kamu blessing muko kamu obongo obukolera kuno okitegeera naye tusobola kudda wano ne ngamba nti
nakulaga opportunities abalala je batala
nze anti bino binayitamu that's why I'm successful no. I did all that fine but if I did not have
God with you
God has been with me every step. So when in whatever denomination, could be a Catholic, a Christian, a Mlokole,
a Muslim,
God, always go back to God and ask him to redirect you. Because whatever we say is because of an experience. God has something for each you and everybody. That's my take home.
Wow, we love you guys. We can't say anything more than that. We're not even saying bye, but bye.